Hello again, whiskey friends. Hey, thanks for joining everybody for another whiskey review. Today we are going to break down a bourbon I'm really excited to get into. This is the Remus Highest Rye 6-year bourbon. And the unique thing about this one is the mash bill: 51% corn, 39% rye, 10% malted rye. So pretty much a split between the malted rye and the corn. And I'm trying to strategically move my pinky here so that you can see it's from Ross and Squibb. They're really trying to put that name front and center. I'm still probably going to call them MGP for the rest of the review. So thank you for joining me today, whiskey friends. Let's kick off the show. Yeah, let's pour this out. Let this sit for a little bit here while we chat about this bottle. So I did find this in Ohio finally. Woohoo! And I got a sample of this, a taste of it at least, during Pours in the Park, which was the Bourbon Junkie event in August. Someone got their hands on it months ago, and now, they let me sample it then, and now I get to actually try it for a proper tasting. Initial impression on it was really, really strong. Got to sit down with it. We'll see how I net it out at the end. But for this one, it is a 6-year bourbon. It is 109 proof. And once again, the mash bill: 51% corn, 39% rye, 10% malted rye. That's a very unique mash bill. And that's been an interesting thing that has been happening with MGP bourbons over the last year, 2 years. I've been seeing it more and more. There was a time where the bourbons were just 21% rye or 36% rye, and that was MGP. Now they are exploring every combination, it seems like, that is possible with those percentages, with those ratios. I've got another Remus pick here right below me that was a 44% rye, 51% corn, and the rest, I believe, was malted barley, not malted rye. So they're experimenting with everything. You'll see that with their ryes as well. It used to always be the 95.5. Now, if you find some Rossville picks, man, those mash bills, they vary, and some are barely legal ryes, just like this is a barely legal bourbon. I was excited to get into this one though. The thing that I really appreciate about this particular release is A, 109 proof, great, 6 years old, awesome, unique mash bill, and 54.99 retail. $55? Come on. How many people are coming out with new releases and charging $55 for it? Especially for something age stated at 6 years. I've almost become accustomed to 1 year's $10 these days. The rate things are going. Nope, not this one. Bucking the trend. Good value there. And that'll come into play with that final score. So let's get into the tasting notes themselves. I am totally interested to see if the tasting notes that I get today match my notes from prior tastings, because I wrote down some very strange things. Now, once again, it's a unique mash bill, so maybe that makes sense. But man, there's some flavors that I was teasing out that I'm like, yeah, that's a first. But let's get into it. Thanks for joining me this far, whiskey friends. We're going to go into the nose and then into the palate. Cheers, everybody. Ooh, tell you what, the nose presents itself a lot stronger than when I did the official tasting of this. Hmm. Presents itself much darker. It's leaning darker for some reason. I don't know if that's a me thing today or a me thing then. Also comes across with a lot of rye. Man, it's going to be an interesting one to give people blind. I mean, it is only 51% corn. So when I say it could confuse people because it's a rye blind, I mean, it practically is a rye. As I dig deeper into it, the rye notes are still the thing that I come to. There is a bit of a lemon and what I would equate to a blood orange when it comes to more of those citrus fruits. Um, Gosh, immense sweetness there. Geez, lots of powdered sugar, dried apricots. So it starts leaning into some of those stone fruits, but definitely a dried apricot with the powdered sugar. The other thing it brings me back to, um, if you ever go to the store, gosh, always to the childhood memories. It's like those miniature pies that you can get at the grocery store, but specifically the crust and the dough of those particular mini pies that cost like $1. I can't think of the brand. It's in a white box. Can't think of the brand. Well, I think that's on the nose. Let's go into the palate. Cheers, everybody. One thing that's really, really surprising about this pour, despite the 109 proof, man, the mouth feels just okay. Just okay. Not watery, but not like oily or thick or dense or anything. It's just kind of there. Hmm. Man, that note, man, I swear it's there. Totally interested to hear your impressions with this particular note. So after I say it, come back in the comments, give it a sip. Up front, I get watermelon. If I'm going to pin myself on a fruit, it's going to be watermelon and all the good things that come with watermelon, but some of that what I just said about the mouthfeel as well, like good flavors, but it's just a sugary water in the end type of a thing, right? Like the flavor's there, I like it. It can be very, very delicious when it comes to a watermelon, but biting into a watermelon versus biting into nearly any other fruit is a totally different experience. And there's a lot of spice up front as well. So I will say that, gosh, so he spiced up a watermelon. And the spice I'm talking about is almost gosh, it's a pepper, but like a buffalo powder even. I don't know, something in between there even, like a spicy watermelon. Weird. Mid palate is actually a very fruit forward, refreshing experience yet again. Still going to pin it to that watermelon. That watermelon does stick out. Uh, there are darker notes there, though. I don't think that's fair to just pin it on the watermelon. Next to that watermelon are a lot of darker notes. That's even where the maltiness emerges from that malted rye. Man, lots of vanilla cream, lots of rye spice. Golly, this is an interesting pour. I mean, you can kind of tell from my reaction and trying to describe it. Like I'm all over the place, disjointed. I'm calling out watermelon. What the heck is going on here? Let's go into the finish. Still gonna go with watermelon. Spicy watermelon. Golly, that's spicy. Spicy, spicy hot watermelon. I've never had a spicy hot watermelon. Is that a thing? Is that actually a thing? Let me know in the comments. GC Pete. Gosh, it's the heat too. When I say it's spicy, it's man, there's like a heat to it. Oy vey. That's really lingering. The longer I let it linger, that vanilla cream kind of shines through. shifts a little bit of gears into like a limoncello. Whew. Gosh, I'm getting a whole lot of pepper and just barrel at the end. Man, that is really punching me this time. I don't remember the finish like punching me as much as it did right there. What a roller coaster. Jeez. Let's get into the scores on this one. So here on the channel, we do have a 3-tier scoring system, breaking everything down into a flavor score, experience score, value score, whole bunch of things behind the scenes that go into these scores, but those are the 3 summarizations. As you can see here, man, I am still getting punched in the throat with the spiciness. The flavors, they're good. It's a roller coaster ride. I don't know who is gonna like really like this based on my flavor notes. Like it's more interesting for me to explore it and try to pick it apart than it maybe is to like drink it. I do find it refreshing. This is like a good like flask whiskey. You know, if I were to take this to like sneak it into a movie theater, that's probably good context for how I might use this thing. I mean, I'm definitely gonna put it in some blinds. Kelsey and Darrell, hold your ear. You know, I didn't say anything like that. Experience, once again, I mean, I guess there's complexity there. The finish is good. Feel weird, like the mouth feels just kind of neutral. Not a lot going on in the nose per se. I don't know. It's a really, really hard pour to score for whatever that is, you know? But in the end, that's the best part. It was $55, so you get to explore it at least at a good price, relatively speaking, for something that is 109 proof, has this unique mash bill, has the malted rye. That part of it's great. That part I appreciate. All's the points go to that, which then nets out to a 77 out of 100 for a very good score. In terms of recommending, I gave it a 7 out of 10. You know, I think the price, the age statement, a lot of people haven't explored malted ryes, especially bourbons that have a malted rye profile. Like, that's not something that exists too much. The only other one I can think of is the Silver Grove from New Riff that I reviewed earlier this year. But that's not like a common combination anyway. So there's got to be some people that are intrigued by this, intrigued by the age statement, intrigued by something new coming out of MGP and coming out of this Remus brand. So, do I plan to buy another? I said no. I think I'm one and done on this one. I think once this one is explored, I probably won't go back to it. So, interesting, love trying it out, but probably a one and done. So that concludes where I am on the Remus Highest Rye Bourbon. Let me know in the comments if you've had this before and what your thoughts are and what notes you're getting. Come on, watermelon. Tell me you're getting that watermelon. Well, thank you for joining us today, whiskey friends. I'll catch you on the next whiskey review. Goodbye, everybody.